Hi, my name is Matt, and I'll be assessing the credibility of Jay Walder, CEO of Motivate Bike Share, which is currently partnering with Ford to produce the Go Bike Initiative in San Francisco. The Go Bike Initiative is similar to City Bike, which is a bike share that covers the 5 boroughs of New York City. And to judge Jay Walter, I'll be reviewing his speech, his believability and intelligence, as well as his overall credibility based on a speech that he gave at the Go Bike Initiative launch on the Embarcadero in July. In terms of believability, I was fairly convinced by Walder's enthusiasm for the Go Bike Initiative. What made me partly believe in Walder's speech was his proficient use of body language and tone in attempt to captivate his audience. When Walder was talking, he used his hands to fill the awkward void that is created when you don't move your hands. Instead of keeping his hands still at his sides, Walder coordinated his gestures to emphasize different points that he was making. For example, when Walder would say a hyperbole, he would use a larger hand gesture to emphasize that. And similar to body language, Walder used the tone of his voice to emphasize the different points he was trying to make. And an example of this is at a point in his speech, Walder was explaining the rapid growth of Go Bike throughout the different parts of the Bay. And he raised his voice to express his confidence and excitement about the Go Bike Initiative growing. And I found this semi-convincing, but Walder's enthusiasm does not alone make this speech particularly believable. In my personal opinion, I feel like this speech is lacking a sense of emotion from Walder, and this emotion doesn't need to be over the top, but I feel like if Walder truly cared about the success of Go Bike and its efficacy on the community and the Bay Area communities, which is an example of virtue or goodwill, he would be able to speak with more passion. And the second thing that I'll be reviewing for Walder's credibility is his intelligence. And Walder's enthusiasm helped him gain a bit of credibility with his audience, but what reinforced his enthusiasm and his overall credibility was his intelligence. And Walder displayed a fair amount of intelligence through his physical appearance, which is presumed and reputed credibility, as well as through his use of facts and his knowledge of who his audience was, or his perception of who his audience was. And what I presume and what Walder's reputation played to his advantage while assessing Walder's intelligence. For this speech, which was on a weekend on the Embarcadero, Walder dressed in a business casual outfit, which to me implies that he usually works in an environment where he has a reputation to uphold. And he's also a CEO, so he must have some knowledge to get to that position. And another aspect of Walder's appearance that strikes me as having some knowledge is that he is wearing glasses. And it doesn't matter if Walder actually needs glasses or not, but there's a popular social connotation that if you have glasses, you're doing a lot of reading, and therefore if you're doing a lot of reading, you're smart. And another more concrete example of Walder's intelligence was his use of facts. Even though his speech was pretty short, Walder was able to interject a couple of facts that substantiated some of the excitement that he was expressing. And one of the more important ones that I thought pointed to Walder's intelligence was his perception of his audience, because Walder might not be from the Bay Area and he might not be might not be passionate about public transport, but his audience definitely is. So through his use of tone and body language, he is able to create a sense of enthusiasm, and he's able to align himself with the audience and make them believe that he believes in the same future as they do, and therefore gaining credibility. And in conclusion, I found Walder's speech fairly believable, and I found Walder to be fairly credible, but the one thing that I didn't like about his speech that kind of, in my mind, made him veer towards less credible was that he was reading off of his written speech a lot, and he didn't have it memorized. And a lot of his enthusiasm seemed very well coordinated, so it didn't really seem very genuine. So that's my review of Walder.